I'm Dave Froehlich. Thanks for watching this edition of the Fox 7 Austin CrimeWatch digital exclusive. We're taking a look at some of the crime stories making recent headlines in our area and across the state. We begin in Austin, where police say in a targeted robbery, a man was shot and killed in November 2024. The suspects were reportedly after cash and a diamond-encrusted watch. Now investigators are sharing how they tracked down those 6 suspects. Fox 7 Austin's Angela Shen has more.
6 suspects are behind bars for the murder of 20-year-old Xavier Jones Sr. Police say on November 25, 2024, he was shot to death at an apartment complex on East Wansley Drive in North Austin. Police say the suspects shot through the sliding glass door, assaulted Jones's girlfriend, and pointed a gun at a child. They stole money and a watch from Jones. According to the affidavit, Jones had posts on social media of him holding cash and a diamond-encrusted Cartier watch, and another of him buying a diamond grill for his mouth. The estimated value of the items was $50,000. John Willard was the planner and leader of the robbery, but he had a GPS tracking device, so he brought up the idea to his gang associates, Judah Wren Forbes, Lawrence Jones, Corey Keyser, and Cameron Perkins. They planned for 2 weeks and started spying. Lawrence Jones's girlfriend, Rihanna Farias, drove them to the apartment. All are between 20 and 22 years old.
It was some type of gang association that was very broad, what I'd call more of like a hybrid model. These individuals just really floated around with someone with some type of organized activity.
A Crime Stoppers tip got the ball rolling on who the suspects were. Investigators spent the next 2 months building up cases.
We assist with data gathering, analysis of open source information to include social media, and any kind of street intelligence that we can get through confidential informants and other sources. We conduct covert surveillance in cars that do not look like police cars and in clothing that does not look like police clothing.
Then on January 29th and 30th, they picked all of them up.
We began in the early morning hours and systematically arrested one person, executed a search warrant, moved on to the next, executed a search warrant, moved on to the next.
APD says 5 of the 6 suspects were out on bond. The 6th was already in jail for an unrelated crime.
It's challenging for me being on the inside. It's a drop in the bucket to the gentlemen and the men and women of the department that have to go out and risk their lives to apprehend these people for a second time.
Yvonne Jones, Xavier's mother, released a statement that reads in part, "We believe in the DA and are putting all of our trust in him that he will do everything in his power and will, that none of these suspects will ever walk free again in life. They should have never been free on bond considering all of the heinous crimes they have committed." It goes on to say, "What happened to my son was not called for because 6 criminals just wanted a watch, one in which not all 6 of them could wear at one time. This was an act of a bigger reason and cause." Angela Shen, Fox 7 Austin News.
Police in Elgin are investigating a double murder. Authorities say they were called on a welfare check in a home on East 11th back on February 11th. When they entered the house, they found 2 people dead. Investigators say this was an isolated incident and there's no threat to the public. The identities of the 2 people who died have not yet been released. An Austin area man is facing charges for painting swastikas and profanity on property around Travis County over an 11-month period. Authorities say he's been involved in more than 40 reported incidents. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has that story.
More than 40 times, Paul Zagara used spray paint to depict swastikas, profanities, and other hate-based symbols in western Travis County, according to authorities.
Not only does it intimidate, and not only is it hurtful to the Jewish community and the memory that symbol has about the Holocaust and the death of millions of Jews, but it just spits on the legacy of the troops in the United States who served to defeat that kind of evil.
Court documents say the incidents happened between March and the end of December in Lakeway Bee Cave in unincorporated parts of the county. The graffiti was reportedly seen on utility poles, signs, mirrors inside public bathrooms, parking garages, homes, sports complexes, the community library, fences, garage doors, and vehicles.
It's just not the right message, not the message that we want to have here in the Austin area.
Zagara is facing charges of criminal mischief and graffiti causing financial loss, about $9,000 worth so far.
We just encourage them to try this as a hate crime because we feel pretty strongly that this is sending a message of hate.
The Travis County Sheriff's Office says they're actively investigating a graffiti case involving a vehicle belonging to District Judge Jan Soifer, who presides over civil and family law cases in Travis County. Zagara could be a possible suspect and face additional charges. In 2023, the Anti-Defamation League recorded 63 incidents of anti-Semitic assault, vandalism, and harassment, a more than 40% increase compared to the year before. The official audit of anti-Semitic incidents for 2024 hasn't been released yet, but
preliminarily, it looks like we're going to have another record year of anti-Semitic incidents, hate incidents generally from white supremacist groups.
Kurz says anti-Semitism needs to be addressed.
If we're going to bring these levels of hate down across the board, we need to engage with each other in a more civil way, productive way. Not through social media, not through talking at others.
Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
A man accused of stabbing a homeless man to death and setting fire to an encampment in South Austin has been ordered in order to destroy evidence, is now behind bars. 32-year-old Thomas Gonzalez faces charges of first-degree murder and evidence tampering. The Lone Star Fugitive Task Force tracked him down in January. Austin police say he killed 50-year-old Jonathan Salas at a homeless encampment on Nelms Drive. Detectives are also exploring Gonzalez's connection to a 2022 homicide, which was previously dismissed. In a matter of hours, 2 French Bulldogs were stolen in different parts of Austin. Police are investigating these as aggravated robbery cases, and one of the suspects is still on the run. Fox 7 Austin's Angela Shin has the details.
2 stolen French Bulldogs in a matter of hours Sunday evening.
I think it is a shock to the conscience, right? Our dogs are our family members, so it does weigh heavily on people.
The suspect in one of them, Servando Cruz Jr., is still on the loose as of Friday afternoon, wanted for 3 felony warrants. Police say he showed up to the Walmart on Norwood Park in North Austin in a stolen red Corvette on Sunday around 5 p.m. He pulled out a gun on some victims and stole their French Bulldog puppy. Officers found the Corvette and tried to arrest Cruz, but he got away. On Wednesday, officers did a search warrant on a home in Dale, Texas, finding the stolen puppy, 2 guns, one of which was stolen, and the Corvette, which was stolen out of Leander. Police believe the Corvette has been used in other crimes. If you recognize it, call APD. On Sunday, around 8:45 p.m. on Shady Lane in East Austin, a victim was walking his 2 dogs in an apartment complex. Police say the suspect, Roderick Harvey, drove up and demanded the victim give up the French Bulldog, Freya, but the victim refused. Harvey shot the victim in the foot and stole Freya, dragging and running over the second dog as he drove away. The second dog had minor injuries. On Tuesday, authorities arrested Harvey in Elgin. He had 2 rifles and drugs. APD says since 2021, there have been 7 French Bulldog robberies, a small fraction of total robbery cases.
Other than being really cute, they do have a high monetary value. If you get a Frenchie from a reputable breeder with papers, they cost about $8,000. If you're doing a Facebook Marketplace deal, anywhere from $2,800 to $3,000.
Is stealing French Bulldogs a crime trend?
Not a trend. Specifically speaking to last Sunday, these were completely random acts, but done by completely random people.
In 2021, Lady Gaga's dog Walker was shot in the Hollywood area and her 2 French Bulldogs taken. They were later recovered. If threatened for your pet,
It's hard for me to say it personally, but give in to the commands and let us do what we do.
Christian Long with Texas Humane Heroes says smaller dogs and designer breeds are more likely to be targeted by thieves. It's important to have your pet microchipped.
Collars can be taken off, tags can get lost, but the microchip is as fail-safe as you can get.
If you have a new pet, your first stop should be the vet.
If they scan the dog for a microchip and it's got someone else's information, that is going to cause some red flags.
These 2 dogs glad to be reunited with their families.
The first puppy that we affectionately named Timmy, he was super excited. He never met a stranger. A 6th to 7th week puppy. He was in good spirits. Freya seemed to be very elated to be leaving the place that she was at.
Angela Shen, Fox 7 Austin News.
A San Marcos man accused of murdering his wife has been caught in the Houston area. Juan Yanez was arrested in Harris County after being shot at by law enforcement. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has that story.
It was around 2:30 on Friday. A 911 call came into the San Marcos Police Department.
And the man, speaking in Spanish, told the 911 dispatcher that he had shot his wife.
Police showed up to an apartment complex near the animal shelter.
Once officers found the correct address, the suspect was gone.
But Chief Stan Ridge says the back door to the apartment was open, and inside was a woman, 43-year-old Victoria Velades, lying on a bed, dead. Using the number the man called from and talking with family members, they identified the caller as Juan Manuel Yanez.
And so then it just became a question about, okay, where is the suspect now? And so by interviewing family, we asked, where do you think this person would go? We then learned about a familial relationship that was in Harris County.
Stan Ridge says one of his detectives used to work for the Harris County Sheriff's Office, so they contacted them.
They had a murder and they requested that the Sheriff's Office do a welfare check at a residence.
Captain Lovett says at around 7 that evening,
the suspect from the murder was in a neighbor's yard. He saw us and started running on foot.
He says they chased after him.
He turned around. A deputy thought he saw a gun. At that point, he discharged a weapon.
Captain Lovett says Yanez wasn't hit. He kept running and hid in a backyard.
We utilized air support and canine, located the suspect.
At around 8 o'clock, Yanez was arrested. Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
A Houston man recently pardoned by President Trump for his role in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol is back behind bars. Just weeks after he was freed from federal prison, 36-year-old Andrew Taki was arrested after 2 weeks on the run. In 2016, he was charged with online solicitation of a minor. He's accused of sending sexually explicit messages to a 15-year-old girl who was actually an undercover officer. A jury has convicted a truck driver from Austin for the kidnapping and death of a Dallas sex worker. That victim's body was found in a wooded area in East Texas. Fox's David Centendry has that story.
There are violent Johns out there.
A truck driver from Austin, 28-year-old Nassan Hazard, is now convicted of kidnapping and killing a 25-year-old sex worker who he picked up at a Northwest Dallas parking lot last August. Her body was dumped 120 miles away.
Like she was just discarded as if she was trash.
Amanda Pettit, executive director of Rescue Hill, a nonprofit providing resources to human trafficking victims, says the pickup began in Dallas's Blade, a slang term referring to a street where prostitution is common.
That was in the Harry Hines area, and that's considered our Blade.
The woman, Kalia Zangari, was from San Diego, California. Her family tells Fox 4 she spent time in the Army. Somewhere down the line, she became a sex trafficking victim.
You pass them by every single day and you don't realize the situation that they themselves are in.
The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Texas says Zangari had online sex ads posted in Dallas from August 9th through 15th. Hazard exchanged more than a dozen messages with her. On August 15th, surveillance video shows Zangari getting into Hazard's truck.
He picked her up and there's never video of him dropping her off again. And her car was still in the parking lot as if she was coming back to the car.
Belongings left in her vehicle at the parking lot were later found by investigators. Cell data shows Hazard's phone and Zangari's phone pinged in the same areas at the same time until her phone was turned off. Investigators found it on the side of LBJ Freeway. Hazard's phone was tracked to Pittsburgh, Texas, where Zangari's remains were found. Investigators say bleach stains on Hazard's pants were from Hazard trying to clean evidence.
These women are not trash. These women are human.
Pettit says, unfortunately, it's all too common for sex trafficking victims to also become victims of violence.
But never, ever, ever one time have I worked with a woman who said she didn't get beat.
Fort Worth police say a man arrested for a deadly road rage shooting tried to cover his tracks before admitting to the crime. Fox's Amelia Jones has the story.
Fort Worth police arrested 22-year-old Kobe Burkhart, charging him with murder for a road rage shooting last week. A dash camera from victim Ricky Langs' car captured the shooting. It shows Langs honking at the suspect Kobe Burkhart in a roundabout. Then later, at a stoplight, Burkhart pulled up beside Langs, and 2 gunshots could be heard. Langs lost control of his car and crashed into a median near the northbound lanes on East Loop 820.
And it's just sad because you just took an innocent man's life over a honk, and he went on about his business, and you're still trailing him.
Langs' daughter, Shelby Johnson, says she had no idea her dad had a dash camera in his car.
I never knew that he did, and I thank God that he did have a dash cam in his car, because we probably wouldn't have known this soon who was the person that did it.
Court documents show the dash camera footage led police directly to Burkhart. Police say he replaced the license plates on his Chevy Equinox, and his mom brought him a blue tarp to hide it from police. After his arrest, Burkhart claimed Langs had a gun. However, he couldn't describe the gun other than, quote, it was probably black. He said he was afraid Langs would shoot him, so he admitted he fired 2 shots at the victim. Langs didn't have a gun in his car.
And it's just, sad. You're just now starting your life, and now look, you're just not going to have a life to live now because you're going to be locked up.
The hardest part for Johnson is hearing what the dash camera caught after her dad was shot.
It broke me down because I can just hear him, in my head, his voice just saying, I've been shot, and there's no one there to help.
While nothing will bring her dad back, Johnson says getting Burkhart off the streets brings some closure.
Them finding his killer won't bring him back to us, but justice has been served, and I'm grateful for the investigators and how they took time and, did everything and came to the conclusion who it was.
The FBI is looking into the expansion of DNA testing to help find suspects. A sexual assault survivor from Austin says the technology could help save others from the years of terror she experienced when her attacker wasn't caught. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has that story.
If it weren't for DNA, I would never know.
That it was Kevin Lee Francois who brutally assaulted and raped her at her apartment in 2003. She was 19, a freshman at Arizona State University.
It was in the middle of the night, and I never saw his face. He got away, and it was a cold case for nearly 7 years.
Until DNA linked a stranger, Kevin Francois, to the crime.
DNA gave that closure.
After years of being terrified, her attacker was nearby.
I know the feeling of waiting for justice.
The FBI is now looking into a faster DNA processing system called rapid DNA. When people are arrested for certain felonies, they'd provide a DNA sample at the same time their fingerprints are taken. In about 90 minutes, detectives can determine if that suspect is wanted in another unsolved crime anywhere in the U.S.
A lot of these are repeat violent serial predators that we are allowing to roam the streets of our children.
Like serial killer Raul Mesa Jr. He's now set to die in prison, but he may have some more appearances in court in the future.
We still have 4 cases that we're still waiting for DNA testing to come back on to determine if we have any linkage to him or not.
Rapid DNA could have made a determination in just minutes instead of months or years. In a statement, Austin Police says, quote, the ability to develop a DNA profile from a mouth swab within 1 to 2 hours could be beneficial in assisting with cold cases, homicide, sexual assaults, and other crimes. Our department is always looking at the latest technology to assist with investigations and help combat crime. Currently, the use of rapid DNA systems in a booking environment is not allowed in Texas, so APD hasn't implemented it. Ashley Spence is pushing for it.
Every other area of our life, we are advancing in technology. We have to keep up with it in the criminal justice system. Every single victim deserves justice, and so it's my life mission now.
Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin, CrimeWatch.
In 2023, Texas passed legislation requiring DNA collections during all felony arrests. State lawmakers have not allowed the use of rapid DNA during arrests yet. Spence says she's working with lawmakers to get that allowed in the state. Well, for more on the stories featured in this episode, you can head to our website, fox7austin.com, and click on the Crime Watch section at the top of the page. Each Monday, make sure to check out Meredith's Crime Watch stories on Fox 7 Austin News at 9. You can watch our Fox Local mobile and connected TV apps, which are free to download. And you can watch on your phone as well as multiple platforms like Roku and Apple TV. Thanks for watching this edition of the Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch digital exclusive. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fox 7 Austin YouTube channel.